Is it less feminist to be a housewife? Part 2. So, people would generally ask me, you know, oh, you're a housewife. What do you do to keep yourself busy? You would, like, how do you stay busy? I mean, the modern times have become like this that, resting or, taking some time out, just doing nothing has become a kind of shame in the society. You will, they somehow you just always have to prove your worth. You just always have to. What's that? Oh wow, it's a tiny insect. Yeah, you're supposed to prove your worth every time. You're supposed to, tell people how productive you are. Yeah, you always have to show up. Like, yeah, like, exactly. You always have to show up. And of course, the training has been done since school. You always have to show up. So it's a somewhere we humans have tend to see not working as a guilt, even if we're doing something nonsense, even if we're doing something nonsensical, doesn't make sense, but we have to do something. We have to be productive. We have to show ourselves up. It's okay if people are putting a fake picture, that we are doing something, though they are not. But that's what happened in offices, I feel. Most of the time in workplaces, people just put up a face of doing the work and they're not doing it, but putting up a face of doing the work because that's because even if the work is over, they have to show up like, no, we are being productive, we are doing something for the office, we're doing something for this industry, we're doing something for. Have you seen that? So yeah, people do. I often get these questions, what do you do to keep yourself busy? I do nothing. And I do almost everything. I mean, um, I do have a spiritual inclination, and when you have a spiritual inclination, you are actually doing 10 times more work than anyone else. That's why when we had these four categories, Brahman, Vaishya, Shudra, and Kshatriyas, I mean, of course, I'm not putting them in a order like how we are taught about it in our, how shallow, very shallow we were talked about it in our school systems. And yeah, I also kind of look down upon it, like, yeah, I also kind of look down upon um this varna system, this caste system, but it has a very deeper meaning, and you can just go to my part 1 and just know about what I'm trying to say here. So Brahman, Vaishya, Shudra, Kshatriya, they are not different people doing different, or different people belonging to different varnas. It's just one people belonging to all the varnas. How we have ikigai has 7 to 8 components. How your wheel of life is divided into 7 to 8 components. Some part is spiritual, some part is financial, some part is friendships, some part is romantic, some part is your business, some part is your studies, higher studies, and so on and so forth, right? So I feel that that's exactly how a varna system was also, but over the time it has really, you know, people became so shallow they just couldn't interpret its meaning anymore. And of course, we have to um, give some credit to the Rakshasas as well. They have always manipulated our text, our religious text. And yes, Britishers, especially when they wanted to rule our country, they made sure that we feel inferior about, they played mental games in many ways, Britishers. Whereas Mughals, they were force, they were coercive, they had this, they put this force into the society. Whereas Britishers, they were manipulative, they were sneaky, they played mental games, they made sure that we feel inferior about ourselves. So we give up, you know you lock in the body, you still have your independent mind, but they locked in our mind. They locked in, they made us feel inferior, and that's how we got into the grip. And yeah, that's why now we learn varna system in our schools the way we learn, and it's very shallow. So yeah, So, how do you stay busy? So, first of all, there should be no shame in doing nothing at all, because some philosophies, I guess Japanese, I've heard it somewhere, though they all come from India somehow. That was a history. So, yeah, I guess Japanese, they talk about, how doing nothing is also doing nothing, especially a woman doing nothing, woman who's not in her, not in her mind, who doesn't have to be, she's soft, she's in a feminine, she's lying down, she's doing nothing. That also attracts a lot of wealth and abundance in your home. Well, I truly feel that wealth and abundance are two different things. So I think I'll make a video upon, that's a different topic altogether. I'll make a video upon how, what's the difference between wealth and abundance. There's a lot. So it also attracts a lot of abundance and wealth into the home. So especially a woman doing nothing, it's she in her feminine. It's good, you know. And on a serious note, I have seen, housewives being, used up in various spaces. Okay, she can be there for, housewives have seen that they are used up in various spaces, where they are needed, where they are required. Like, we need free spaces in our life. She is that free space, she is that free vessel, you know to be, of course, to be used up at certain places, or and of course much more. Yeah, she is that free space, and we as a culture, we have lost free space. We have lost, I don't know, I feel like I have to slow down, but somehow something just makes me feel like I want to run, and something in me makes me want to just, yeah, I think I need to slow down because I feel that. Yeah. So, yeah, she is that free space. And, I have seen people, for example, there is somebody near, for example, there's some misfortune, there's somebody at the hospital, and somebody's needed at the hospital. Everyone has gone to their job. Now, she is a housewife, she can be there, at the hospital. Or, she can, or maybe, you need someone to be there for, for example, to nurse a child, or a relative's child, or a neighbor's child. She was that free space. A housewife, she was that free space. And how granted we take those free spaces, isn't it? She is the most valuable resource a family can have. She is that free space. She can be there, when you are out at the office. She can be there. Yeah. Or let's say you need some kind of help with the pregnant ladies in the house. So she was that free space. She was a free vessel. And how important are free spaces? Do you realize it? Have you seen how architectures have changed over the years? There is no kind of free spaces in the house. Do you see that? First, there, when you enter, there used to be a free space. There used to be a muddy area. There used to be a free space. There used to be a chair. There used to be a, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it used to be a free space. There used to be plants or tulsi ka paudha. It was a religious plant that it was in a front yard. It was a free space, a muddy space. We can put our feet onto the earth. And yeah, it was called a veranda, front yard, whatever. Then we had backyards too, you know, and maybe we had small rooms. And, you know, and we had just one washroom out there. We didn't have three washrooms, one washroom attached to every room. Maybe we didn't have that kind of a structure. Maybe we had this one washroom, and that too hygienic. Indian toilets are so hygienic, man. That's why, now we need three washrooms, every washroom attached to every room. Because because English toilets are really unhygienic. Everyone's sitting out there on that. Yeah. Indian toilets are really hygienic. Actually, technically, right? Everything changed from even the way we, you know, yeah, even our washrooms. We felt so inferior about ourselves. They even hijacked our washrooms. So this is so common sense that Indian toilets are so hygienic. Do I even have to tell you like why they are hygienic? They are. This makes me so angry. So yeah, maybe we just had one washroom and we had free spaces even in our homes. Now it's all gone. It's all covered. No free spaces. Imagine if all gardens or parks, out in your city wiped out. Imagine no rivers in your city. Imagine no forest in your city. Where would you go out? Oh, yeah, to a cafe? That's what the new generation is doing. Whenever we have to meet our friends or something, we are going to meet up or hang out at cafes, or then we have pubs where everyone's dancing on alcohol and blah, blah, and of course we have malls, AC malls, where AC is full on. And I have never felt good in an AC air conditioner. I've never felt good. It's always been a headache under a air conditioner. It's so, I just hate it. Just hate air conditioners. And I love coolers, but I just hate air conditioners. I don't know. So yeah, that's life. Um, we have lost our free spaces, we have lost front yards, we have lost backyards. Now we're in a process of losing, a woman, a free resource who is there and who can be there for anyone and everyone in the joint family, or in the extended family. We are losing it all. We're losing free spaces in our mind, in our body, in our families. We want her to also go out and do the work. Everyone go out and do the work. And let's say anyone is not, feeling well or is ill, you have to, they're teaching us to be independent, and it's not a good thing. I know they kind of very well highlighted being independent is good, but it's not. Trust me, we need codependence. You think that a plant is independent, it can grow without a water, it can grow without sunlight. One day in his ego, if a plant said, I do not need water, I do not need sunlight, I am independent. That's what, we would call that plant a fool, right? And that's what they want you to be. They want you to be a fool. They want you to be an independent fool. Nature works in coexistence. We work in a family. Love holds us. Togetherness holds us. And love is very different from attachment. Though I feel love is really rare in today's world. People are more attached than really, really loving each other. But yeah, so we're losing that housewife space. We're losing that free vessel. We're losing that free space. She is that free space. So it is, you know, so a lot of people are asking me, how do you stay busy? It's not, we really need to look into ourselves. It's not good to be busy all the time, you know. And the second part I really want to talk about is that I am actually very busy because I have a spiritual inclination. And when you have a spiritual inclination, as Brahmins, in the society, when you used to have Brahmins in the society, they used to just go out, get the food from the outside, and then used to do the studies. Because a Brahman, somebody having a spiritual inclination, will think 10 times more deeper than a person, than any other person. And he requires a lot of energy, a lot of time, lot of energy goes into that, right? He would see one thing 10 times more deeper. It's not, I'm not talking about, you know, I'm not talking about being a philosopher or something. Like philosophers are deep and they're looking at the sky and now they have, something to say about the sky. Oh, the sky is blue, they're writing a poem. No, it's general life. They are really busy. They they s- they are sensitive. They are processing 10 times more information than any other person. A spiritual person is, you know processing 10 times more information. And dan you, a spiritual person entering a room full of 10 people, that like if tomorrow if I enter a room full of 10 people, I would need 10 days to recover from it, because it's a lot of information, lot of things, I'm processing. And ah you know spiritual people, Brahmin people, they are sensitive. They look at one incident and then they have 1,000 times more information processing through the nervous system, because they are deeper. They look at things very deeply. That's how we are. It requires a lot of energy, and they are actually very busy. So yes. So there is no shame in doing nothing, first. And second, I believe, is that housewives are actually very busy. Housewives are actually very busy because they are the free spaces, being filled up in everyone's life. Tell me if I'm wrong. Um, Let me just have a look at. Uh, yeah. In the modern times, since we have forgotten the invisible, the subtle world, we've forgotten about the spiritual world. We just look at the physical world. We see, oh, this is the physical world. Here we have come here to make money, and that's it, right? We've forgotten. Modern times have lost touch with the invisible, with the subtle world, the spiritual world. And hence, we want everyone out in the family to do the work, to go out, do the masculine jobs, and jobs that take you nowhere. Jobs that just take you nowhere. Yeah, I guess that's just exactly I really want to discuss. I Yeah, that's all. I really want to discuss around this topic, and I think I did my justice to it. And do let me know in the comment section what are your thoughts about it. Thank you for watching the video.